We'll start with the DXY, which is looking very, very bearish at the moment. Still kind of within the corrective nature of this bearish trend, which we've had in play for a while. So yes, we're falling, but it's not enough for me to get too excited. Yes, I would still say the dollar is absolutely bearish. I think if you're looking at any intraday opportunities, shorts are still the best play. We've just broken through this miniature range here. Nice momentum to the downside. Also another gap there. Price potentially can go fill. I would suggest keeping a close eye on some break and retest opportunities for some more downside. My worry for the dollar is that when we do approach these lows down here, are we going to start to stall again and potentially reverse and maybe see the bigger move to the upside, or are we going to crash through and really see momentum take control? Of course, that's something we have to find out when we get there. But at the moment, bears are very much in control. We've broken through this range, broken through the floor here basically. And yeah, I would suggest some pullbacks there for the dollar look the best. So I think if you're kind of intraday hourly chart, maybe even lower time frame, if we can go and get the retest of that range, fill the gap whilst we're at it as well, I think that actually lines up pretty well for a nice short opportunity, and a push back to the prior low, wherever that does form, would make the most sense. So yeah, dollar looking bearish, momentum's with the bears, nice drop there from the start of the week, left behind now a nice area of support / supply. So if you can see price go and tap into that, I think that's a great place for some entries, and naturally expecting more downside off the back of that. So at the moment, it's definitely bearish there with the dollar. Of course, euro picking up the pace as well. Again, still kind of within this corrective nature of this channel. So not getting too excited just yet because price is still kind of testing the upper region. Again, we could start to stall here and make our way back down again, and then things get awkward again for euro if that is the case. But yes, very, very bullish at the moment. I think if we can get a pullback for euro, the buys still look good. We were talking about some buying opportunities off the retest of this area here. Unfortunately, no retest happened. Slight consolidation. Didn't really see much of a pullback yesterday for euro. We were very, very bullish in the afternoon, and price committed to the upside. So I would say a retest of the high here, which of course coincides with that miniature range, same with the dollar, I think would be a smart place for a break and retest. Again, keeping it intraday, I think that's a nice place for a buy. So euro is still very bullish, momentum's still with the buyers, no signs of bearish pressure coming in just yet. So I would be focused with looking to find long opportunities. There's a nice area just below us here at 1.163, which lines up with the retest of the high and this miniature range. If we can pull back there nice and correctively, I would, there's a likely chance of a bounce, see some healthy rejection, and of course taking it back to highs, wherever that does form. If the market, let's say the market pulls back from here, well, naturally that would make good for a target. So yeah, EURUSD still very bullish, momentum's to the upside, just looking for a break and retest. We didn't get this opportunity yesterday, so maybe now we do see the pullback and we get this opportunity. So keep a close eye on that. In terms of pound USD, very bullish as well. This one, very clean breakout, I must say. Essentially, I've been calling pound a bit of a range for quite a while. Ever since we had the breakout of this high, price has not been moving well. But we have had a very substantial breakout this morning, or yesterday afternoon, but it's carried on to this morning. So yeah, pound's looking a lot better now. And if we are going to continue that journey, that would be nice, because if we could see kind of momentum pick up just a little bit more, I would be looking at a break and retest. We've got some major highs to the left over here, which I think price is about to smash into, or already has. These are some previous highs dating back to 2021, so it's definitely been a while. But yeah, it's a clear breakout to the upside, similar to EURUSD. I'll keep a very close eye on the retest of the high there. I think that is a smart place for a pullback and some long entries. Again, the key thing I wanted to see with the USD pairs, if I'm going to continue that bullish bias for the USD pairs or bearish bias for the dollar, is momentum. And in fairness, pound USD is showing some really healthy momentum after the break of the highs there. So the retest actually looks pretty good there. I'll keep an eye at that at 1.36295. We've had a solid rejection of support here. Price is now reversed and looking very, very strong at the moment. So if you can see some pullbacks back into 1.362, basically the same idea as euro. I do think that's a smart place to go long and expect some more upside for pound USD. Next big target 1.382, which is a major swing high going all the way back to 2021 as we just mentioned. But yeah, Euro USD looking pound USD, sorry, looking very, very bullish. Dollar CAD not as bearish as you would expect it to be. You know, looking at some of the other USD pairs, euro flying, pound flying. I think euro and pound are a little bit strong at the moment. Of course, USD is weak too, but CAD is quite weak at the moment as well, which is why dollar CAD is finding it a little bit difficult. I was hoping to see a retest of the high here for a nice double top before shorting. Unfortunately, that hasn't come around just yet, but I do think that is still the best play. I'm not really willing to jump into any shorts down here anyway, so I do want to see price have another pullback to retest the highs. We've got a lovely range on our left here. Brief pause, strong move to the downside. This is kind of really where I want to base my shorts from. Also, there is an area just above us, which I do like the look of as well. But of course, price is nowhere near that area, so not too concerned with that range over there, which of course did give us a really nice drop, but it's not really in play. So if price can pull back and retest that area, maybe when pound and euro pull back, we might see dollar CAD pull back with it, test the high. I think that's a smart place for a short, and then push back into lows, and then we'll go from there. It might be some nice buys at the low again. But yeah, the way I see it, very solid rejection from a very solid area. Price may just fall from here. If that's the case, you probably have to scale right down to the lower time frames to find an opportunity with dollar CAD. Maybe if you can break through support here very well, it might open up the door to some shorts there. But from a swing perspective on the 4-hour chart, I am hoping to see if we can get the 4-hour double top before the sell. But again, this might be the best opportunity, so keep an eye on that forming on the more intraday time frames. In terms of Aussie dollar, this one, it has continued. I am still looking to see what we can do within this ascending channel. So as we do push to the higher end, which is around 0.66, this is kind of where I'm looking to see if I can find some shorting opportunities. I do think price is likely to rally through the resistance here, especially because we just had the massive fake out to the downside. You know, price now has just grabbed some fresh liquidity. I think that would be the catalyst to go and break resistance, because in fairness, it has held for quite a while now. You know, price had numerous tests of this resistance level. And then when we did sell off, price, of course, faked the low and has now recovered substantially. So I do think we're likely to break through to the upside, which is why I'm not looking to sell there. And this becomes an area of interest, looking for the third upper test of that trend line. If I can see some confident rejection, I think that would be a nice place to short Aussie dollar and capitalize on a move down. But yeah, at the moment, nothing really to do. We didn't see that pullback for Aussie dollar yesterday either. I said a nice retest of this area could be a solid place for a buy, especially because you got the fake out. Now you're looking for the retest and the continuation. All price did yesterday was just consolidate and then continue. So unfortunately, nothing there to take advantage of a retest, unfortunately. But that short idea still stands, and that's really where my focus is now with Aussie dollar. And we'll see how price reacts from there, because that will make or break the trade. Of course, if price rallies through, I won't be too interested in shorting. But if I can see some healthy rejection, then yes, I will consider some shorts. New Zealand dollar, I'm not a big fan of. I did say I do expect to see a push back to highs, but I don't really have an opportunity to take advantage of that. I'm not really seeing a setup. Altogether, the market for me is quite flat, and we're almost kind of ranging. I think a nice buy opportunity would be if we can have a solid break of the high, similar to what we're seeing with pounds, similar to what we're seeing with euro. Then possibly some pullbacks after that might be interesting, depending how we pull back and how we situate. But that would make the most sense to me. I don't really want to be trading inside of this range, so anything inside of here I kind of view it as no man's land a little bit. If I can see a confident break to the upside, that tells me that momentum has really entered the market. I'm simply just looking for the pullback, of this bullish leg. Probably not going to get a fib confluence there, but a retest of the high might be a solid opportunity, and then so on and so forth. So something like that might interest me. It really depends on the breakout. It needs to be a confident one if I am going to follow that. If it's kind of just flat and rejecting, I'm not really too interested. But yeah, I think Aussie dollar looks like the better pair anyway. Maybe if momentum really does continue, I might consider to add this to the watch list, but at the moment, not really interested. Gold, I'm still looking to buy this one. We had a bit of upside yesterday, but didn't really amount to much. Price overall was very, very corrective on the push. So I do think gold can still see a push back down. Again, this is still very, very critical support for me for gold. At 3,300, we need to hold on to that. If gold does break through that, then I wouldn't be surprised if we do end up back at 3120, which is the low down here. Because at the moment, the only thing keeping us bullish right now for gold is this bullish structure. If that does violate, then that's a clear sign to say that, okay, the buyers aren't really here anymore. We might push down to go and collect some more before we do potentially continue on our bullish journey. Because, of course, us breaking the lows there doesn't necessarily mean that the whole reversal of gold is going to happen. All we need to do is just look at the daily chart. The trend is still very confidently to the upside. But what it does show is that the immediate price action, the intraday price action, is switching bearish. So we might be seeing a bigger pullback than expected. So we'll see what price can do on a retest of this area. There might be a nice double bottom for a buy. It's kind of what I'm looking at. There's a bit of a counter trend line here as well. So people who favor counter trend line breaks, I think that's an area to look at. If price can break and close above that well, that could be a nice buy opportunity. There is some resistance here to watch out for, around 3,400. I think if we can get back above that, again, that's a solid buy. But yeah, I'll see what we can do here for the retest. Hopefully some buying opportunities can present. If not, then I'll look for something like this. So gold, a bit of limbo right now. Buys, not quite there yet. Sells, not quite there yet either. So I'll stay patient. I mean, even intraday, there might be some nice shorts there. In terms of silver I like a lot more. I was debating an opportunity to try and take silver buys, but I decided to stay away. My preferred opportunity for silver is a retest of this level here. I did like the price action yesterday, so I was debating looking for an entry, but I decided not to. It was a nice close in the afternoon. It's a nice wick to the downside, so I like the rejection there. I like the wick here, but I decided I'm gonna wait to see if price can get back to my zone here, which maybe in hindsight we don't do. I'm not too sure. We are looking quite bullish right now, so maybe I do regret not taking that position. But again, I would want to see price get to that zone because that's where the retest lies. And that's why I'll be more confident having my stop loss. Having a stop loss there underneath the lows does invite some risk because if we are going to see a retest, my stop loss will be taken out. So ideally, I want my stop loss to be underneath the low there. So entering up here with a stop loss there doesn't make too much sense in terms of risk to reward. So if I can get my entry a little bit closer, that would be my preferred opportunity. But again, we'll see if silver is going to provide that. In terms of direction, though, silver for me is pretty clear cut. Very much still looking for buying opportunities. I like the opportunity for the retest at the 34.8 level. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for. There might be somewhat of a head and shoulder pattern that could form. You got the left, you got the head, you got the right shoulder there. Possibly that could happen, which could help with the pullback actually before a buy. The way I see it, this is kind of like a ranging market here a little bit. So that right shoulder does have some merit, but I'm not interested in selling silver. I'm only looking to buy it. But yeah, the analysis hasn't really changed to be honest. The buys still look good down here, 34.8. That's where I'm waiting to see if price can get to, and then hopefully buy it back to highs and so on and so forth.